Hi everybody, welcome to this Capture One Live session about, Capture One Live. My name is Maria, I'm going to be your host today. I'm also a trainer at Capture One. But if you're missing David, no worries, because he'll be here soon, eventually along this live stream. He's going to be helping us with some things on the back end. So this is the first one of a series of live streams about Capture One Live. We decided to do it in this way, so split up in 3 parts, because we really want to show you the ins and outs of collaboration. Capture One Live is a tool all about collaboration. So this is why we're going to be having some special guests for these 3 sessions. So today we're going to be focusing on how to, set up the Capture One Live session and sharing it online. We're going to be doing that with David, and then also you'll be helping us in this. So we'll share the Capture One Live link in the chat so all of you can see what's happening on the session real time. I also want to say thanks to Mathieu, or product manager for Capture One Live, who is going to be taking some questions on the Q&A tab that is right next to the chat. So hopefully you can find it all there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them there. Mathieu will take care of them. All right, so we're going to be counting with 2 Capture One ambassadors for these sessions. Today we're going to be with Quentin Décaillet, and with the rest of the sessions we'll have Jan Vischerman, professional retoucher. They will be showing you the full professional workflow of how to collaborate online with Capture One Live. So without further ado, let's bring in Quentin Décaillet. Here you go. Hello, Quentin, how are you doing?
Hi, Maria. I'm great. How about you?
All great. Really looking forward to see what you have to show us today.
Yeah. Looking forward to showing Capture One Live and the shoot as well.
Great. So what have you prepared for us today?
So I set up a kind of perfume, the kind of thing I would do as a personal project for my portfolio, just to show you a simple setup that pretty much everyone can reproduce at home. And we're going to show you how to, set up Capture One Live as well. So I think I'm going to start by showing you perhaps even the final image I have at the moment.
Yes.
So then I can go over the setup and show you the thinking behind the setup. So that's the image I shot today, just to make sure everything would run smoothly for the webinar, as we have only 30 minutes together. So I've already done some retouching on it in Capture One, and that's the raw file. So we're going to try and recreate something similar. Because there is some kind of creative effect, the trailing effect on the perfume, probably we're going to get something different, but that's the fun as well with that kind of creative effect. So yeah, let's show you the setup and how I work when I work on this kind of project. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a camera so you can let us know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's great. So hopefully the focus will be following me around. So the perfume is right here. I've got my camera here. So the camera I'm shooting with is the Nikon Z7 II. So you can see my live view as well, which I might actually turn on so you can see it right here and there. So when I shoot tethered, I'm always using the live view, so I can have the image I shoot on the right and then the live view on the left, which is great. So if I need to move around something on the set, I can see exactly what my camera sees. And then when I trigger the camera, I can see the final image on the right. So I'm going to turn on the first flash, which I had set up here in the background. It's right behind a 120 by 120 diffusion. Let's see, so there you can see it. And see, the great thing about having the live view in Capture One for shooting product, I can tweak my lighting without the need of going to my camera, trying a test shoot, and then going back to the flash and adjusting it. So that's the first flash I had. And if I take a shot
just want to clarify for a second, sorry to interrupt, that because not everyone might be familiar with the live view in Capture One. So just wanted to clarify that. Here I am. So this thing that we're seeing on the left is actually the live feed from Quentin's camera. That means that on the right we have the main Capture One interface with the photo that was shot previously, and then on the left we can see everything that the camera of Quentin is seeing right now. So that is going to help him to make the composition and adjust the lighting and so on. yeah, there as
Yeah.
you can see everything moving in front of the camera. So sorry, I just wanted
So
to
if
briefly
I
clarify that, so
Yeah, sure.
to make sure
Sure.
everyone's
That's
following.
good.
Give you back to
Yeah,
it.
so if I move anything here on the set, you see the flower is moving in the background. So that's great because I can see really what I see, what the camera sees on the set, and what the lighting looks like as well. So I can take a shot, which I usually take from the computer, so I don't move the camera at all. So that's with just one light. My camera is set up with the lowest ISO possible, f9, just because I usually start at f11, then tweak around depending on what I want. Here I wanted some bokeh, so I set it up at f9, and then 1/60th of a second just to kill the ambient light. Then I didn't want to set up too many flashes, so I used a white board just to reflect the light here on the side. There we go. Another shot with that. So it gives me a bit of reflection here on the top of the perfume as well as on the side. And then I felt like the label and the branding wasn't shown properly, so I added another one in front of the perfume with a optical snoot, if it wants to turn on. There we go. And there. So it creates some kind of ray of light on the bottle. So it's not just, everything is not just lit, it's lit with a bit of creativity, if I may say. And then if we trigger that, boom. So that's the shot I had. I wanted to get there, and then the idea for me was to add some kind of movement. So for that, I need to use a mix of flash and continuous light. So to do that, I'll lower my shutter speed and make it, let's say, 1/5. And what that will do is now, if I do have some continuous light, if I have any movement in the with the camera, I'll have some trailing on the shot, which is kind of interesting and gives me the effect of the final image I showed you before. So for that, I added yet another light, which is just a continuous LED light here. And then I'm going to kill the modeling lamp on all the flashes. And you may wonder why I'm not showing you Capture One Live just yet. That's because usually when I do the pre-light, as I'm doing now, I'm not going to share that with the client right away. So I'm usually doing all the testing before. And then when the testing is done, I'm going to create a separate folder and create the Capture One Live session on that folder, which we will see in just a minute. So if I take a shot now, you probably won't see much of a difference. It's a bit brighter, but that's it. The thing is, because I don't move the camera and nothing is really moving on the set, there is no difference. So let's try and take a shot with the camera moving just to make sure we do get some movement. So I'm going to unlock the rotating here, the panning, so I can trigger the shot and move the camera at the same time. And there you get the movement. Now, I do have it on the tripod, so the thing is, on the tripod, I'm just going to get something that's very linear, whereas if I do take it in my hands and move the camera around, I can create different movements. So now that I know everything is working fine, let's go back to Capture One and create a new folder with the live session. Is there any questions so far regarding perhaps the setup, or is it all good?
I don't see any questions coming in from the setup, but if you do have any questions, don't be shy and put them on the Q&A tab.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that they're not specific about Capture One Live.
Yeah. So here I do have the different folders, so capture, select, output, and trash, which are the default session folder. But as you can see in the session favorites, I have something called 00_prelight. And if I right click on it and find show in library, it then shows in my system folders where it's located. And I did create it in the capture folder. So my session is this folder, then the capture and the pre-light. So I'm going to create a new folder here. So right click on capture new folder. Let's say 01 underscore setup one. And now I could either create the live session from here, so just tick share and it will create a new session, but I'm going to show you the other way around. So if you need to create a live session after having created the folder, you can still make it happen. So let's say, okay, here it's create. It creates for me a new folder here, but I want to access it easier than just having to look for it in the folder. So right click, add to favorites. And now I can close down the system folders and I'll have it here in the session favorites. I'm going to use it as a capture folder as well. So whenever I'm going to shoot from now on, I'm going to have my files in the capture folder and not in the pre-light. So that's what I want. So set as capture folder. The small camera icon comes after the name, and share online to use Capture One Live. So here, when creating a new live session, I'm going to have to choose the collection that I want to share, because I don't want to share the pre-light. I want to share what I'm going to be shooting from now on. So choose. And then here, using the capture folder should work, but for just to make sure, I'm going to use the 01 setup one, which I just created, and see it actually moves automatically to capture folder. Now, I don't want to apply a watermark, but if I wanted, I could use one from a recipe I have. Share and manage access. And here there are different ways of actually sharing a live session. It's something that's new with Capture One 23, and it's really, really great. So the first way of sharing the session is by typing an email. So let's say here I want to share the image with any collaborator at gmail.com who's actually David Grover. I can just type in the email, and then I can pick if I want him to just view the images or if I want him to be able to rate, tag, and comment. In this case, let's say he's the client and I want him to be able to tell me which images he likes or doesn't like. So I'm going to click here and then click on plus icon. So that's going to send him an email, and from there he will have all the detail to access the session. If after the fact I want to change that, let's say I want him to be able only to rate and tag the images during the shoot and not after, so once I'm done shooting, I don't want him to go back and change anything, I can always come back here and change. So change to view or even remove the access. And now I can also share the session with anyone with just a simple link. So for anyone, I can also pick if I want to give no access. So I don't want anyone who is not in the list of the email to access. So I don't want anyone but this email to access. Or if I want just the people, so for example here, you guys, to just view, or if I want everyone to be able to actually rate, tag, and comment. So to avoid any issue, because I'm sure otherwise everyone is going to go around and just change everything in the session, I'm going to click here, can view. So you guys can access the session from your computer, and we're going to share that link with all of you in a minute. So there, and
okay, so I got your link. I'm pasting it on the chat now for everybody. So from now on, you're very welcome to click on this link that I just sent on the chat. And if you want to see what is going on, you have to make sure that you go in here into this, this is a browser that I'm showing, and just click on continue anonymously. Otherwise, you will not be able to enter, because you need to enter your email if you have been invited through email, just as David was, as any collaborator email. So just make sure to click on continue anonymously. Okay, bringing you
Good.
back.
Yep.
Quentin, where are you?
I
Here we are.
disappeared.
No, you're right here. Here you
Okay,
are.
great. Okay, so now I don't even have to click on any OK, submit or whatever button. I just close the window. And as you can see here, the session is shared. You can always close that window here and open it back up. So if I want to stop the share, I can stop it at any moment. So let's say I've got some kind of disaster on the set and I don't want to share any picture with the client anymore. I can just stop the share. If I'm done shooting and I don't want the client to access the session anymore, once I'm done shooting, I can stop it. Or even if, like me, I use those sessions to actually share my images with my clients even after the set, after the shoot. So they can rate the picture and give me feedback for the retouching. So I don't have to create any gallery on any other website, but I just use the Capture One Live for my client to select the images. So once they are done with the selection, I usually stop the share so they don't access the images once they've selected it. So just to make it clear as well, so once you close Capture One down, the Capture One Live is still available. So here, if I were to close Capture One, you guys would still be able to access the images. But as we don't have any images now, you don't see anything in the Capture One Live. So let's just shoot one image so you can see how quick it goes from my computer to the live feed. So here, I've got the image and you should have it within a matter of seconds.
Great.
That is as well if my
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, but it's also dependent on your connection. So if your internet connection is crappy, obviously the upload time is going to be a bit longer, but it should be really quick. Usually it comes up almost right away.
Okay. So I think so Matthew is taking care of some of the questions. There were some specific questions to like set up and stuff like that. Someone was asking like, how do you have these two windows open in Capture One when you had the Capture One session and the live view open?
Yeah.
You want to take that one?
So I'm using a software here. I don't even remember the name. Let's see. Magnet on Mac. So I can use keyboard I can use keyboard shortcuts to make, like, let's say this window here, Capture One, half the screen. So I don't have to resize it manually. I think the Capture One Live View window is considered as a dialog box, so it doesn't work on it. I have to resize it manually, but still having a 27-inch screen with 4K resolution, I still have enough space to put both windows next to each other, which is really handy and really useful. And if you want to gain even more space, you can always go to the Capture One window here and press Command T to close down the tool menu, so you don't have anything but just the image, the live feed, and here the necessary tool to adjust focus or adjust the composition or whatever. So the live view feed is always in a new window. So if I go back here, the live view comes by clicking on here, Start Live View, the small camera icon. It's a new window, always.
Okay, good. So some people were saying it's super fast, instant, and someone was saying that they can leave a comment, but they cannot tag or rate. That's because you don't have the permissions to do that. The one who has permissions to do that is any collaborator, aka or David. So I'm just gonna be bringing Dave in. Oh, here you go.
Hello.
How are you doing, David?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Are you ready to be the client?
Yep. I can be the fake difficult client. Absolutely. So, I have received an email from Capture One, which came through, instantly as soon as Quentin sent it. So actually, you can see this window here. So this is the email would have seen, and then I'm just going to copy that link. You can also click on that button, but for technical reasons, I'm using two different browsers, which I won't bore you with. And then if I paste this link in here, so now I need to verify my identity. So that is, of course, any collaborator, also known as me, and verify. And before you guys try and do this, you can't, because for extra security, what happens is you get a verification code, which is sent to my email like so, and that code expires after a certain amount of time. So I'm going to pop that code in, and then now I am into Capture One Live, but I have the ability, great shot, so I can go in. I can obviously add my star rating. I can add color tags. Quentin and I can have a conversation about which color tag means what, or if he just wants me to star rate, or of course, if I want to add a comment as well. So, the nice thing is, of course, the security is extremely robust. So it means that no one can get into the session who you don't want to, into the Capture One Live session. And of course, if you've invited more than one people, which is of course totally possible, then you'll know who is commenting by, of course, the identification of the collaborator up here. So it's going to put the collaborator's email and their comments, so you know exactly who's who. So easy to identify who is making comments, very secure, of course. So no danger of anyone getting into the shot that you don't want to. And as you saw earlier with Quentin, he can kill the connection at any point. He can revoke my access. He can take commenting away from me, and so on. So there's lots of control from the photographer's end to make sure the right person is examining the right shot. So you could shoot a few more off if you want, Quentin. Do you want to put our screen side by side? There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. And just, I think I didn't mention it as well, because before in Capture One 22 with Capture One Live, we had the choice of the session duration, and now it's only a month. So, well, it's a month, and you cannot choose. Because a month is usually more than enough for clients to make their selection. And you can always recreate a new session if 1 month is not enough, but usually it's more than enough for all the clients from the day of shoot to make their selection, and then it ends after a month automatically, which is great as well.
Hopefully your clients are responsive within a 4-week period, you'd hope.
Yeah. It's rarely the case, but yeah, when they need it in a week, they usually have it done within the day. So let's try and shoot a few more. I'm going to take the camera in my hand, so I'll turn my back to you.
Cool,
so
and I'm going to turn on follow mode. That's this icon at the top here. I know we've got a lot going on screen, but if I click this icon, then I'm going to follow the live action. So when Quentin shoots, it's going to update automatically. And as you know, I'm in the UK. Quentin, you're in Switzerland, yes.
Switzerland, yes.
Switzerland, yep. So and Maria is in Spain. So this is a good international example of people working together, and we'll also see how quickly everything updates as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just hiding the live view so people don't get sick when I move around the camera.
Great. We've had a request if you can shoot like a lot of photos together just to see how fast it is.
Yeah. So there we go.
Go crazy. So you can all see how Capture One Live is immediately updating. There is almost no downtime. So the moment it gets into Capture One, like 1 second later, it's already on Capture One Live. You can see that on the screen. And also, if you joined through the link that I shared on the chat, you're also going to be able to activate the follow mode. So you can see exactly the same as David is seeing.
And of course, any point I can stop following if I wish. I can exit out of this, but whenever Quentin shoots or edits to a photo, like if you're not in a tethered workflow, if Quentin picks out a shot and starts editing, cropping, or fixing his wonky rotation there, then it will immediately update in my Capture One as well. So you can see as Quentin's editing, I'm now getting the update view of what he's doing as well, which is pretty awesome.
David, there was a question of how you can show the comments, because I don't think some people were finding the comments on the Capture One Live. So can you show us briefly where to do that?
Yeah. Let me just stay on one shot. I just come off. I'll come off follow mode. So if I put a shot in, let's put one in here. Okay, of this one. Did the camera slip like so? And send. Let's go to a different one. Love the movement, like so. So now if I go back to the home page and hit the comment icon right in the top right hand corner, you can see all comments, which you should be able to see on the public one as well. Actually, I'm going to open that in a different browser and check as well. So if you guys hit the comment button at the top, then you can see a summary of all the different comments, like so. You can see there's one comment, so I, as the photographer, can say, okay, what's going on with this one here? So if I click that, I can see, great, any collaborator, me, loves the movement. But of course, if we have 3 or 4 people engaged, then we can see the discussion develop as well. So more than one comment can be made on any picture. Multiple people can obviously comment on any one picture. And as I love this one so much, I'm going to give that 5 stars. And then on Quentin's screen, that will, of course, actually immediately update. That's number 4578, Quentin. So if you open that one up, then I'll mess around with so the star ratings, which are down the bottom. So I could put 1 star, I can change the color tag, bump it back up, and so on. And that response is also pretty instant as well. I mean, the fact that Quentin was shooting, what camera is it, Quentin? It's the Z7?
Z7 II, so 45 megapixels.
So 45 megapixels into Capture One, preview being made, adjustments, color rendering being done, sent to the cloud. Obviously, we're not sending the full raw data, but having the rendered image, and then shown to all you lot within, a very short space of time is pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, actually, someone was skeptical if this was JPEG, but no.
No,
we're not cheating.
It's not even the compressed file. It's the raw I'm using on the Z7 is the 14 bits, or I think it's the 14, not the 12, and then it's not compressed, so it's the largest you can have. If I go to the Finder to find how large is it? Let's see, where is it? The show in Finder there. See, it's 47 megabytes per shot. So it's not like a light file.
No, not a light file, which Capture One has to deal with, and then obviously send data to the Capture One Live cloud, and then you retrieve that. That performance is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were also having some people asking about how to see the comments in Capture One as well. For now, that is not possible, so Quentin would have to go into the live session as well to see the client's feedback. Matthew, maybe you want to comment on that. Matthew is working around in the chat and the Q&A, so maybe it's nice that he sees these questions. There's actually a lot of questions right now. Should we take some more of them, or do you want to go on with
sure,
selection?
We can take some, because however you want. I may shoot some more, but if I do shoot for the next couple of sessions I'm going to have to switch off the lights, because as you can see, the final shot I showed you before is a bit different, because I've got the light for the video plus in the background, so it's a bit different of what I had shot before. So I don't know if that's interesting for me to shoot some more. Or,
shoot some more. So just for another look at the performance, if you agree, Maria.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to switch off the light there. And
I'll go into follow mode again.
Yeah, going to bed.
It's pretty good, eh? It's like, less than half a second, really, from update to Capture One to being available in live. So when we say real time, we mean it.
We really do.
And I don't even have a fiber connection here. It's still cable.
Yeah.
Plus, we are streaming at the same time, so my connection is actually being used by the system to upload.
That's true, because you're also streaming all this data as well. So your connection is live streaming, screen, you, and the data to capture on live. So that's pretty cool.
Anything looking good so far?
Yeah, it's all right.
Or not? It's all right. Not too bad.
Yeah. And of course, the purpose of shooting movement as well is so that, in the next session that we do, we have, that collaboration workflow between Jan and Quentin to pick out the good ones too.
There we go. And when I do shoot this kind of stuff, I'm usually shooting wider, so I do get more possibility in post. Let's bring back some light. So I'm not just making poor framing, it's a decision on my side. There.
And I can also use, one thing I didn't mention, I can use my cursor keys to move through. So I'm just using cursor keys to go back and forth. I can use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on my keyboard for the star rating as well. And I can also use the QWERTY keys, or is it? No, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, Q, W, and so on to change the color tag as well. So if you have somebody who wants to move through quickly, so you can see how quickly I can browse these as well. If I want to check for details, I can zoom into a closer view. So if I want to pick out one that I find is the sharpest and the best and so on, that's all totally possible as well. So this one I like, so I'm going to give that 5 stars and then put in a comment. This is my favorite, like so. If I can spell.
We have another relevant question from Stefan saying, if you stop the session for a break and you start again, is the live view setup still ready? So can you maybe show that, how you can, close Capture One? David can keep rating and commenting and giving color tags on your own, and then we can show how to resume sharing. Yeah.
So do I close Capture One or do I stop the sharing as well?
No, you just need to close Capture One, but don't stop the sharing.
Okay.
Okay, now David, do your magic.
So sorry, I just realized I was cutting off the bottom of my screen. So you can see down here the star rating and the color tag. So I'm going to give this one 3 stars, and not so fond of the framing, Quentin.
I'm sorry.
Very demanding client. So I can move through.
I requested to be paid before.
Paid? This is one of these exposure clients that doesn't pay anything.
Yeah, we love them.
I never thought that of you. So disappointed. So very disappointed.
So yeah, even though Capture One isn't running, of course, I've still got access to this session. Let's just throw in another star rating and a color tag just so there's stuff to synchronize down. So you can see the comments indicated by the little bubble. You can see the star rating. One thing I can also do as a client is if I want to have a little overview of what I've done, I can look at my filters. So if I want to see, okay, what are the ones I've marked as 5 stars? These 3. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, these are my favorites. I can combine filters. So if I want to see the 3, 4, 3 stars, like so. So I've combined 3 filters together and decide if I want to bump one up or knock one down. Actually, I don't like that one. So by making that 2 stars, that's taking it out of my selection. I mean, obviously, if this is a big collection, this is a big benefit to be able to filter down. Or even we can have a dialogue. Quentin could say, okay, I've marked my favorites with green. So if I, clear all these color tags, so, whoops, wrong button. If I clear all the color tags and then green filter, then if Quentin's marked a bunch with green, then I'll be able to see, okay, this is what Quentin thinks are the best. And then I can go in and do my selection as well. So having the filtering there is super handy. And also this switch where now we can see only commented pictures as well. And notice that it's updating nice and quickly as well. And I've got a global clear filters over here. And I guess we should also mention the interface is in multiple languages too. So obviously I'm working in English, but if you prefer, the verification dialogue to be in a different language as well, the client can also choose exactly how they want to view. So we've added, or I've added,
languages.
Yeah, there was a lot. I don't even know.
There's a lot of languages.
So. Yeah, so we've got the big five, as we know: Korean, Dutch, Polish. Any guesses for PT? Russian, Slovakian,
Portuguese,
and China, Taiwan. So yeah, really, it's excellent. So I've done some extra things. So all Quentin needs to do now is open up Capture One. And yeah, he should find he can just resume and everything will synchronize in an instant.
So you will need to go back then to the interface of Capture One Live and click on resume sharing, and that will load all the information that the client put in while they were away, while Capture One was closed. And of course, you can also change ratings and color tags while the client is not watching, and then the moment he opens up Capture One Live again, if the sharing is resumed, then they will be also able to see the changes you've made while they were away from the live session.
Yeah, super nice.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, there was also a couple of questions about what happens when different people are writing, rating and color tagging images. So what will happen then is that the last person that color tagged or rated, they will override the previous person who did it. That's how it works right now.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. I think that's what I had in my bag to show you today. I don't know if there is any other questions regarding either the setup or how I use it in my workflow, either Capture One Live, or whatever. Happy to take a few questions if there are any.
Sure. Yeah, so make sure to ask Quentin questions of how he uses Capture One Live on his real life workflow. While you think of those, I just briefly wanted to share with you the next live session, so you show up as well. Make sure to join the next, because as I said in the beginning, this is the first of a series of 3. So let's bring in the upcoming lives. So this is today, the 15th of November, the first part of the Experience Capture One Live. Then in 2 days from now, we'll have one on smart adjustments unrelated to this series, but interesting as always, nevertheless. The second session of this series will be the 22nd of November. Then we will have also Jan Wischerman, the retoucher, to show us how he collaborates with Quentin Décaillet online. Then we have another unrelated one about faster culling, and the third one of the series will be on the 29th of November. Okay, and those you will have with David as well. Let's see if more questions came up about that. There's a lot of questions here, right? I think that we're going to have some very busy 3 weeks, guys.
Any common questions that have come up?
I think that Matthew is still working on those. I don't think we have the time to take them all because we're actually running a little bit late. Yeah, I think that we answered the most common questions. Yes.
Okay.
And great. I'm going to still leave the room open for any questions that we might have left in the Q&A tab. So if you have some questions still left, just make sure to put them on the Q&A tab and we will take a few more.
And also, if you want to watch again, I should mention that we'll put the recording up on YouTube in the next coming days so you can review, and also the next sessions as well. So we'll take care of that over the next day or so.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
I didn't mention it. Just one thing, perhaps, like you guys should definitely go ahead and try Capture One Live because the features are also available for free, so you don't need to have the subscription to try it and see how it works out. So you can definitely give it a try and see how it works out and how you can implement it in your workflow. That's what I did in the beginning, and I definitely use the tool all the time nowadays for shoots with clients. It's really useful.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, very glad, and I'm sure that Matthew is also very happy about that and all the questions that were coming in. So thank you so much, Quentin. Thank you, David, for helping us and assisting us with showing the wonders of Capture One Live.
Anytime.
And thank you all for joining. Hope to see you all soon again in the next week in the second session with Quentin as well and Jan Vischerman. Until then, take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.